Are you somebody who is considering purchasing the Profitec Move, or maybe you already own the machine, but you want to learn how to steam milk to get cafe quality results? Well, then you clicked on the right video. In this video, I'm going to be going over my workflow as well as giving you some tips and tricks to get the best results with this machine when steaming milk, so you can get lattes like you would at a local coffee shop. If that sounds good to you, drop me a like and stay tuned. Let's get into the video. There are some things that you need to know before you even steam your first jar of milk, such as what kind of milk you should be using, what kind of tools you need, as well as some temperature settings that you should adjust on the Profitec Move. So let's start out with the settings that you need to adjust on your machine. By default, this machine comes with the temperature of the steam boiler set to right around 240 degrees Fahrenheit. I recommend increasing this to 270 degrees for better results. I'll show you how to do that by going into the menus here. And we're going to go down to the steam temperature setting, and we're going to increase that to 270 degrees Fahrenheit. The next most important thing is your milk. So for best results when making latte art or steaming milk, you want to use whole milk because it has the highest fat content and it's the easiest milk to work with. Now you can use other milks like 2% or skim milk, but those will make this process harder, so I recommend using whole milk. However, the steps that I show you in this video, you can replicate with any milk. Your results just might differ a little bit. The other tools that you'll need to make this workflow process easier for you is your steaming pitchers. I have two pitchers that I use for 99% of my drinks. I have this fellow pitcher, which is right around 16 ounces, I believe. And then I have this Amazon pitcher that is right around 7 ounces. So if I'm making a latte that is between 8 to 12 ounces in size, I'll use this fellow pitcher, and if I'm making a cortado or a smaller drink, I'll use this 7-ounce pitcher. The general rule of thumb is your pitcher should be double the size of the milk that you're steaming. So if you're steaming 8 ounces of milk, you want to get a pitcher that's right around that 16-ounce size. And I will put links to both of these in my description if you're interested in one of these pitchers. So I'll be showing you my workflow when I'm making an 8-ounce latte, which is the most common size that I drink. And we're going to do that by using this 16-ounce fellow pitcher. So the first thing we want to do is we want to fill this up to about 6-ounce mark, which the nice thing about this pitcher is it marks it right inside so you can see how much you need to fill. Once you've got your pitcher filled up, you want to make sure that your machine is heated and ready to go, and then you want to purge the steam wand. Alright, so once you've got your milk in your steam pitcher, your steam wand has been purged, we're ready to get into the steps of steaming milk with the Profitec Move. Step 1 is you want to make sure that your steam pitcher is positioned correctly with the steam wand just slightly submerged, and I'll show you what that looks like here. Usually I have my pitcher at a bit of an angle, and I have my steam wand just slightly submerged. Next, you want to activate the steam by lifting your steam joystick either to the top or to one of the sides, right or left. I usually just lift it up towards the top. That will start to let steam into your milk. This phase is known as the aeration phase. The aeration phase is where you let air into your milk, which will expand the milk a little bit, give it some foam, but you don't want to overdo this, otherwise your drink is going to be too foamy. And you also don't want to underdo this step because then your drink is just going to be too milky and it's not going to have any foam. So typically I let in about 3 to 4 seconds of air in this phase. Once you've let in about 3 to 4 seconds of air, you want to submerge your steam wand, and now we're into the texturing phase where we're looking to get that whirlpool effect. So this is the phase that is going to be for the majority of the steaming process, and we're going to be in this phase until we're done steaming the milk. Basically what you want to do is just make sure your wand is submerged. You don't want to hear that paper tearing noise like you did in the aeration phase, and you just want to look for that whirlpool effect. So your milk should start swirling, and then you're just waiting for the milk to get up to temperature. now we're just waiting for the milk to get up to temperature, which you can use a thermometer to measure for about 140 to 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Once you get the hang of this, which I have gotten, you can just use a finger to touch the side of your steaming pitcher, and once it's too hot to touch, you know your milk is ready. So now that you've followed those steps, you should have milk that looks like wet paint. You can knock it on the table to knock out any bubbles. Usually I swirl it around a little bit just to kind of incorporate all the foam with the milk. And now you're ready to pour latte art. Usually I like to pour my latte art within about a minute of steaming the milk or less. You don't want to let the milk sit, because then the foam separates and it just makes the latte art worse. So this phase is critical, that you just pour right after you're done steaming the milk. And latte art is optional, but your latte will taste good regardless of whether or not it has art, if you steamed your milk correctly. Alright, so as you can see, we poured a nice little latte art here. I'm no expert at latte art, but I do like my drinks to taste good, so I make sure my milk is steamed correctly. In this next phase, I'm going to be telling you some signs that you know if your milk is not steamed correctly. So common mistakes that I see, or that you'll see when you're starting out, is your milk is way too foamy. This makes the drink a little harder to drink because there's so much foam that you're just getting foam every time you take a sip. This just means that you let too much air in the aeration phase. So if you were aerating for longer than that 3 to 4 second mark, your drink is going to be too foamy. Then you have something that's arguably even worse than too foamy, is when the milk is too thin. This means that you didn't let enough air into the milk when you were steaming, and your milk is just going to be thin and watery, and the latte is just not going to taste as good. This means you submerged your tip too early and you didn't aerate long enough. There's also the dry and stiff foam phase, which means you let your milk get too hot, or you just didn't have enough of that whirlpool effect going when you were steaming the milk. This makes the drink less enjoyable to drink if it's too hot, and also something that you should watch out for. There's also the large bubbles. If you were doing the whirlpool correctly, it should have taken care of most of the bubbles, but sometimes it doesn't, and tapping the milk on the counter didn't take care of it. So now you've got a drink that's too bubbly. Not the end of the world, but again, something that I usually don't want to see in my lattes. So latte art is an optional step and something that does take experience. This video is not going to be a latte art tutorial. There's plenty of those, and I could even try to make one of those if you guys are interested. If you are, drop a like and let me know in the comments, and I can make a video going over how I make some basic latte art designs. I'm no expert by any means, but you don't need latte art for your drink to taste good. It does wow your guests, and people do like to see it, but if you're a home barista, it's not the most important thing. What's more important is steaming your milk correctly so that your lattes, cappuccinos, cortados taste good, and I think taste is more important than appearance, but if you have both, that's even better. So hopefully this video helped you out with steaming milk and making latte art with your Profitec Move. If you follow these steps, you should be able to get pretty good results with this machine. Like I said, it's very capable. You can definitely get great results. And the nice thing is, this is a dual boiler machine, so you can actually steam milk while pulling a shot. But I usually do those two things separately just because I'm not in a rush. But if you wanted to, you could do both of those at the same time. If you have any other questions around steaming milk with your Profitec Move, or if you still have some issues after following these steps, drop me a comment below and I'll try to get back to you. And I'll see all of you in the next video.